Hello and welcome then to a very informative, quick little live that we're going to bring you from Barcelona, MotoGP HQ. My name is Jack Gorst, and joining alongside me is my colleague and even former flatmate, Elliot York. Now, of course, if you've been tuning into the MotoGP social media channels and even MotoGP.com this morning, I'm sure you'll have seen the breaking news this morning that Marc Marquez unfortunately missed the Argentine to another case. And Elliot, well, it's all the bad news that no one wanted to hit. It's also for Honda.
Yeah, hi mate, good to speak to you. Not good news at all. No, you were just breaking up there. I don't know if it's the stream or not. Yeah, not good news for Mark or Honda. Sort of expected news, wasn't it? I think we'd have seen a lot more social media activity from Mark and the team himself about him back in training or getting the all okay for the doctors by now. So yeah, disappointing news. Is obviously a bit of a weapon in Argentina, isn't he? Goes very well there. Won 3 times, I think, in the past. Last time out in 19, he won by like nearly 10 seconds. So it would have been very interesting to see how he'd got on this year, obviously with the new Honda, and he's been struggling a little bit, hasn't he, with it? So yeah, disappointing news around, but expected.
Yeah, it was expected, unfortunately. Of course, as many of you will know, after the Indonesian GP, he had that massive crash on Sunday in warm up. A huge high side, the biggest thing ever some time, and according to this new episode, unfortunately for the 8-time world champion. And after the medical check that he had on Monday, they did diagnose that case. And just so to recap exactly what's been released this morning, of course, he's had another medical check, and they've been able to confirm that he showed notable improvement with the case of diplopia, which is certainly a very, very good positive, and that unfortunately going to be out of this weekend, as you do say. Now, in terms of Honda, that puts them in a difficult situation, Elliot. Of course, we know that they have to bring in a replacement rider because it's been over 10 days since the last race. And, well, we suspect that will be test rider Stefan Bradl, which for Honda is actually not so bad of a thing considering it's a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's all but confirmed, isn't it, really, that it'll be Stefan Bradl. I'll be very, very surprised if someone else comes in to replace Mark. We were speaking before, weren't we? And we had a quick look in his last 9 races with Honda. Stefan Bradl scored points in all of them, which for a replacement rider in MotoGP these days is the least you can, well, the most you can ask for, to say, really. So, yeah, a good replacement is obviously the official test rider as well, so Honda can utilise that. Of course, they'd want Mark there instead because he's their 8-time world champion, and they obviously want to challenge for the title this year. But if you're going to have a replacement rider, then Stefan Bradl's one of the best out there, if not the best, arguably. So, yeah, I mean, for Honda, they'll obviously be disappointed, but it's a good chance for them to continue some development work with Stefan Bradl. And who knows, Stefan Bradl might go well. He's obviously raced there in MotoGP in Argentina, whereas a lot of the guys on the grid haven't. So we might see him at the sharp end in the early stages. Who knows? But yeah, not a bad replacement for Honda for sure.
Yeah, certainly not bad at all, is he? Stefan, very, very quick on a motorcycle in his own right, and also has helped to develop that brand new RC2 and 3V. And it's really, you do mention there, just Mark's not had problem bike, certainly not been a problem, but he's just had a slight adaptation period to get used to feeling bike, particularly in the front end, where he says that he needs that special feeling that he knows and loves with the older generation RC2 and 3V. So perhaps it's useful time now for Honda to be able to get some of the things Mark has been not complaining about, but noting to the Japanese engineers and those within HRC. So certainly there's valuable time to be had for Bradl on track recovery. So not all in terms of that sense. But what we obviously don't know how long Mark's going to be out for. Luckily, at the moment, they've just said that it's Argentina GP. We hope that he's back for America. Of course, it all depends on, and I think that's really one of the big positives to take out of this. You know, Mark has only been ruled out of Argentina GP for now, so it's certainly a positive in that it seems as though the condition is improving day by day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what are the words? The very favourable evolution in the paralysis of the 4th right nerve. So, yeah, I mean, all signs point towards he's going to be back soon, hopefully. I mean, that's what I'm taking from the words from the press release anyway. Maybe America comes too soon. We don't know. We can't really speculate on that. For Mark's sake, Honda's sake, the American fans' sake, of course, he can be in Austin. But who knows? I mean, yeah, it's good for Honda to have Stefan Bradl being able to come in and continue to develop the bike, like we say. And I mean, at this stage, it's difficult to see if Mark's still in the title race or not. Of course, it depends how many races he's going to miss. He didn't have the best of starts, of course. I mean, 5th place in Qatar was, I think he underwhelmed some people, but maybe we were expecting a little bit too much from him. Of course, Pol Espargaro, his teammate, finished on the podium. So, but then obviously the crash in warm-up, yeah, I mean, that was... I mean, there's many ways to describe it, but nasty is the one I'd probably use. It was just not nice to watch. I mean, You don't like to see riders crashing anyway, but that was especially like, you're just like, oh, I don't really want to see that again. The good news from it is he didn't break any bones. Obviously, the bad news is his diplopia returned. So yeah, all we can hope for is he's back as soon as possible. The signs are positive with the words that were in the press release, shows a notable improvement. So yeah, hopefully back for Austin, but yeah, we can't really speculate on that, can we?
No, we can't. And aside from hopes and wishes, there are actually quite a few little things that, Honda will be looking at. It's a bad situation, but of course they can kind of look at it at glass half full, really. Main championship rival of the main championship rivals, Pecco Bagnaia has only scored 1 point from 2 races and scored 2 crashes in the races as well. And even those ahead of him, they're not too far ahead. Like Bastianini in the championship lead is only on 30 points after 2 races. So of course, this weekend he has almost double that. It's not be all and end all that Mark misses this race for him in terms of his championship hunt. Of course, we know he's going after that 9th again. So, and the other part with Mark, he is Marc Marquez, and you got to say that if anyone can come in for a little bit of time off and hit the ground running and really get back up to the speed and the level they need to be to win races, it's Marc Marquez.
Yeah, nail on the head there, I think, mate. If anyone's going to come back from a setback or an injury or anything, you miss a race for whatever reason, I think you'd hedge your bets on Marc Marquez being able to come back and do the business. I don't think we can rule him out of the title race. Absolutely not. That'd be very silly. There's still 19 races, including this weekend, to go. I mean, a lot will depend on who goes well, of course. I mean, if Enea Bastianini wins the next 2 races, then it's already a mountain to climb if Mark also misses next weekend in Austin as well. Yeah, but you can't rule him out. Simon Crayfile was talking about it on the MotoGP podcast on Thursday, and he said basically the same thing. We can't rule him out because he's Marc Marquez, He's an 8-time world champion for a reason, and although he struggled to get to grips with the new Honda, he was still going very well on it. I mean, he wasn't too far off the win in Qatar, was he? And if it weren't for some mix-up with the tyres in Indonesia, I don't think Honda were too happy with Michelin, but we won't really go into that. Then Mark would have been up there again, you'd have to feel. So definitely not out the title race. It's obviously a massive setback and a disappointment, but the signs are good. So yeah, we'll see what happens from here. But yeah, there's no chance we can rule him out yet.
No, certainly not. Well, I think we've discussed all the points that we wanted to discuss, so we'll sign this off on here. Of course, unfortunate situation that Marc Marquez will miss this weekend, the Argentina Grand Prix. Most recent winner there, of course, as we said at the head of the show, 2019 won there and won it a few times previous as well. We send a very sincere well wishes to Marc, and hopefully we can see him back as soon as possible. And also, if Stefan Bradl does come in, we wish him well for this weekend as well. So from myself and Elliot, I think that's all from now, and we'll chat to you very soon in the future.